Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, great. Okay, so today's session happens to be exclusively on grammar. Yes, we were having this conversation in the previous sessions that let's have a session which is dedicated to understanding and revising the basic concepts of grammar, right? And how do they come handy in all of these exams. So today, that is exactly what we are going to do. Okay, we are preliminarily going to focus on the basic concepts like tenses, parts of speech, subject verb agreement, conditionals. Let's see how much we are able to cover in this one particular session. We'll go slow and steady according to the pace at which you people are revising things. All the concepts might get covered in this one particular session. If not so, then we continue in the next session. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Great. So now, before I start, I once wanted to understand as to what is your basic understanding of grammar. Where do you think you struggle, or where do you think that, okay, you need to revise this concept very quickly? So we'll go one by one. We'll start with Gauri.
So ma'am, you're asking what, like, I have to explain what grammar is.
No, essentially, what are the points wherein you feel that, okay, these are certain concepts that I might need revision in, or as to what is your grasp of grammar? Are you able to explain grammatical questions and concepts very easily? Where do you stand when it comes to your understanding of grammar?
I would like to start by the only thing that comes to my mind is my struggle with tenses. I never really understood what tenses are. I would just sort of like even during my secondary school exams, I would just know that this is grammatically correct, but I would not know the concept behind it. And that's the
Mm,
only reason I passed all my English grammar tests. So I actually don't know how tenses work. Uh, yeah, the past participle and all that, I do not know what these concepts are. Rest everything, I think I have it under cover, but tenses is what comes to my mind.
okay, all right. Uh, Safan?
Yeah, hi, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so ma'am, I struggle with basically preposition and tense usage. Like, as Gauri told you, so somewhat similar to Gauri's. And compare, for example, adjectives, like how to use those adjectives and the position of the adjective. So, and apart from that, I sometimes also get confused about which preposition fits naturally in a sentence and when to use present perfect or past tense. So, yeah.
Okay, all right. Suhas,
Yes, I think they both covered the topics that I wanted, prepositions and the
tenses and the
tenses.
parts of speech, I guess these are
Yes,
the two
correct,
pain points for everyone
correct,
mutually.
ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, and apart from that,
Apart from that, I just want to brush up because it's been like so many years since I studied about English grammar. Yeah.
okay, so today's session might feel like we have gone back to the KG section. Okay,
Yes, yeah.
okay, all right. And Akshat, you have also joined in. Is this your very first session?
This is my second session, ma'am.
Okay, great. So, Akshat, today we are essentially going back to school. We'll be covering basic grammatical topics and concepts. So, I was just asking these people, what are those particular concepts wherein they do get stuck or they do not know the concept of, or maybe, you are able to skim through English section very easily, but
Yeah.
when it comes to understanding or explaining the logic behind it or the grammar behind it, you do feel stuck. So, if there is any particular topic or section, please let me know.
I think usually I go for what makes sense. I do not exactly know any rules for this. What makes sense, what sounds right, I go for that. Usually that's correct, but I have no idea about rules or any such things.
Okay. And what about the concepts? Like if I ask you right now that okay,
Mm.
what are the topics that usually come in the domain of English grammar? Would you be able to pinpoint that?
No, not really, honestly. I
Hmm.
have not studied that for a very long time.
Okay, okay, all right. So no worries. Today's session can feel a little dull and boring. You might go at places like as to, why are we studying this, or like this is so basic. Yes, we know about it, but the basic essence behind this session is that we revise all the concepts, we understand where it's coming from, what is the logic behind it, and what do we have to precisely look for it if we
Hmm.
do end up encountering a particular question. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
I can see some other people have also joined in. Okay, so Harshit, very quickly, any particular grammatical concepts that are a pain point for you?
Not as such, but I'm just looking to have a revision for all the grammatical concepts.
Okay, and Alankrita,
Oh, yes, ma'am.
any particular pain points when it comes to grammar? Any particular concepts?
Grammar, sentence correction, uh,
Hmm.
s-
That
like
is the question type, right? That is practice
correction.
oriented. Today's session happens to be more lecture oriented, as in we are going to just discuss things, we are going to revise the concepts. So when it comes to English grammar, aisa kuch bhi hai. It could be something very basic also, but that like you feel stuck that okay, I don't know the logic behind this, but I do know that this is correct or stuff like that.
मैम जब मैं सॉल्व कर रही थी सेंटेंस करेक्शन तो उसमें कुछ कुछ पॉइंट्स आते हैं, बट वो
Hmm.
मतलब मोस्टली मैम जो पॉइंट्स मेमोराइज मेमोराइज करने वाले पॉइंट्स होते हैं ना वो होते हैं, तो मुझे लगता है कि बस मतलब उसमें प्रैक्टिस का मुझे थोड़ा वो लगता है कमी। और दो तीन जगह मैंने चेक किया है कि जब जैसे मतलब कभी कभी वो prepositions का यूज इसके साथ ये लगता है उसके साथ वो लगता
Hmm.
है, वो अगेन
Hmm.
मेमोरी बेस्ड होता है, वो वहां पे मुझे बहुत इशू होता है, प्रॉब्लम होता है।
Okay, great, fine. So now I'll explain you people as to first of all, like we'll go one by one with things. I have kept things ready. We'll see how the flow of the lecture goes, and accordingly, we'll be discussing points. So, now, first and foremost, no matter which exam you're appearing for, grammar is essential in the sense that once you know the structure of the sentence, of course, ये जो sentence correction, error correction वाले questions होते हैं, yeah, let's say even fill in the blanks at times, you people do end up getting fill in the blanks wherein they are giving you combination not of nouns, but rather of adjectives or adverbs of conjunctive adverbs that, okay, few, fewer, nonetheless, there, therefore, thereafter, इस type के combinations में भी fill in the blanks आते हैं. There are also times wherein you get conditional sentences and you do get confused. So while those questions, of course, directly get corrected once we have realized our grammar, in general, knowing the logic behind these particular concepts really helps you expedite your entire process because you're able to see the sentence through and through. So essentially, we are doing this little lecture so that we are able to revise all of these concepts. Okay. Now, there are 7 to 8 key concepts around which any grammatical question is going to be. Okay. One is definitely tenses, first and foremost. Okay. So the four pillars happen to be tenses, parts of speech, subject verb agreement, and conditionals. Okay. Tenses, parts of speech, subject verb agreement, and then conditionals. These are the four pillars. Apart from this, reported speech, okay, active, passive, these are two more very dominant topics that might be asked, okay, or even if they are not asked, when it comes to even, let's say, your subjective parts or when it comes to your reading comprehensions, once you know these concepts, you very quickly know how to skim through the section and how to move forward. So we'll start with the basics. We'll start with tenses very quickly. Okay. And Gauri pointed out a very important point that while we know very clearly as to why this particular sentence makes sense, because we have been using it out of practice, there are a number of times wherein we cannot really reason as to why it is written this way or what is this particular concept, what do we do about it, right? So we'll start with the basics. First, I'll be asking you some very basic questions. So, okay, let's start with Akshat.
Yes.
Yes, a very basic question. What are tenses? What is the
An-
concept?
Anything that tells us relativity of time, that when was something done? Was it done in the past, the present, or it would be done in the future?
Correct. That is tenses. That is the concept. Now, um, how many tenses are there in
Past,
the English
present,
language?
future.
That is the basic distinction. I'm asking the exact segregation. All in all, how many sentence constructions happen in English language?
Continuous tense, perfect tense, and a few more.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
So
12.
12.
Yeah.
Correct. There are 12 tenses. Okay. And how are these 12 tenses divided? Very simple. We have present, past, and future. And then here we have simple, continuous, perfect, and then perfect continuous. These are the four different segregations. So 4 threes are 12, right?
Are you also
Now,
sharing screen or you're
yeah,
just
I was just like discussing for now. Now I'll be
okay?
sharing the screen. Okay. Now, just a second. Hmm, okay, all right. This one should do. Now, these are very basic notes that I had prepared for some of the other sections. So they might look very simpler, but then again, we are ultimately talking about the concepts. Okay. Now, we can see the 12 tenses here, right? Now, very quickly, we skim through what is the purpose of each of these tenses. Why is this particular part important? This is also very important when it comes to your interviews, when it comes to your subjective writing. And if any one of you is getting an essay section in one of the exams, extremely important there as well. Because how you structure your sentences when you're speaking or how you're structuring it when you're writing it down also has weightage, right? Now, what is the concept of simple tense? What is the simple tense doing? Anyone? We know this that the simple tenses, of course, we are talking about simple past, simple present, simple future. We use this, it's pretty easy. We have the subject and we have our verb which is being used. That is fine.
Ma'am, basically simple tense, which talks about action in the most, most basic or general form. I mean, it does not show any kind of continuation or duration. It's just
Hmm.
that only that action happens or action has happened or action will
Right,
happen. So
right.
it's just a most basic or general form in simple terms.
Yes, very good. And apart from this,
Apart from this, I
see,
don't have any more
okay.
idea.
So now, when we are talking about the simple tense, like he said, of course, this is the most basic form of formulating sentences, of indicating whether an action happens regularly, happened in the past, or is happening in the future. Very good. The second most important thing that ends up happening with the simple tense is that it is always talking about something that is either static. Yes, if we notice it, it's either static, or we are talking about actions which are habitual, cyclical, or repetitive. Okay, both of these uses exist. So we are describing the actions also, that okay, this happened, this happens, and this will happen. That's the basic understanding that we have. But apart from describing the static actions that are happening, this tense also goes on to talk about something that is cyclical. Clear? Now, when we talk about this, let's take a look. Present simple, factual permanent routine, S plus V1. And here you can see in present perfect, I have written V3. Now, V1, V2, V3. Again, another very important concept. And this is very important when it comes to conditionals. Tenses essentially are learned so that we are able to master conditionals, because conditionals is where we get stuck. Okay. So very quickly, what is this concept of V1, V2, and V3? Anyone? Verb form 1, verb form 2, verb form 3.
Past, present, and future.
That is the tense. Verb form 1, 2, and 3 essentially indicates how are your verb forms changing. Okay, verb is your part of speech that gets affected when we are talking about tenses. So when you people study grammar, if you sit down to analyze grammar, we always take a look as to what is that particular component in a sentence that is changing or that is being impacted, right? So when it comes to tenses, which part of speech is getting impacted? Verbs. And when we talk about verbs, now what is happening? We have our basic form, the infinitive form. What is the infinitive form of a verb? The core verb. For example, जैसे अगर मैं बोल रही हूँ he is, she is का infinitive form क्या होगा? The root form. Anyone? To be. Very simple. अगर मैं is से भी move करके, like we are going back to school, think about when you were learning, let's say, Sanskrit. Yes, mandatorily एक आध साल तो सबने पढ़ा ही होगा. So what would happen? You would first learn the word in a particular form, or if you've learned French, if some of you have done that, or any other foreign language, we always write the verb essentially in its raw form. Okay, that what does this verb mean, right? So is to be, the infinitive form that exists. Then from that infinitive form, that's why we say V1, V2, V3, V4. What is that? Different verb forms that this verb is going to take depending upon the tense that it is going to be in. Clear? So essentially we have three verb forms. What are the three verb forms? V1, verb form 1, is the verb that we get when we are trying to make simple present, right? So for example, I eat pizza every day. So to eat is the infinitive form. Then it gets converted into the first form, that is eat or eats. Okay. The present tense. That means now the verb has started conjugating. Then we come to V2, verb form 2. Verb form 2 is used when we are using the past tense. So what is that? Verb form 2 indicates the past tense. As simple as that. Yes, so ate, sang, went, the second form of the verb. This form is being used in the simple past tense. Got it? Then we move to V3, verb form 3, that you people could see here. I have written with present perfect. Now, what is V3? So here we have eat, right? So eat, ate, eaten. What is the difference? जैसे जब हमने स्कूल में याद किया था तो हम ऐसे याद कर लेते थे, because this is what happens with regular verbs. Now there are regular verbs, there are irregular verbs. Regular verbs क्या हो गए? जहाँ पर verb form 2 and verb form 3 is similar. So you must remember, right? In school we used to cram it up. That okay, um, let's say dance, danced, danced. Yes, you're repeating it, and it's same. Verb form 2, verb form 3. We used to learn these tables, right? So what is the difference between verb form 2 and verb form 3? In eat, we can see that there is a difference. Eat, ate, eaten. In sing, we can say sing, sang, sung, uh, go, went, gone. Then write, wrote, written. Irregular verbs will have different V1, V2, V3. Regular verbs have similar V2, V3. So what is this V3? Try and take a wild guess. It's completely fine. You could be wrong. Anyone? कुछ तो बोलो कोई.
Is done.
What, Teba?
Madam, when the work is done.
When the work is done. Okay. So वो तो V2 में भी हो रहा है. जब मैं simple past use कर रही हूँ. So for example, I prepared this sheet. Okay. And I had prepared this sheet. Now prepared is a regular verb. So V2 and V3 are same. पर दोनों ही past में हो गए फिर तो. Why am I saying that in simple past I'm using V2, the second form of the verb, but in my present perfect or past perfect, I'm using the third form of the verb. He had already written his exam. Now here comes in the difference. Gauri, I guess it was you who had pointed out that I do not understand the concept of like past participle and what is happening. Why is there the differentiation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, this is
Yes,
where
ma'am.
it is. Okay. V2 form always tells you just the fact that uh, an action has been completed. It symbolizes the past. Now, when we come to V3, you people must have heard this term in school a lot, past participle. So, what is past participle? Past participle essentially means the third form of the verb, while this verb is indicating that yes, an action has completed. Second thing that it does is, it does not only work as a verb, a past participle also works as an adjective. So past participle is what? The third form of the verb or a past participle is essentially a word that is behaving as a verb when it is being used in tenses, but at the same time, it is also a word that can be used as an adjective. How does that happen? I'll give you a very simple example. I can say that, let's say, this is a well-written script. Okay, a very simple sentence. This is a well-written script, right? Now, the word written is behaving as an adjective. For what? For which now? Script. Understood? So, what is happening? Now, this written word, in this particular sentence, it is behaving as an adjective. Okay. But on the other hand, if I create a sentence in the present perfect and I say, he has written a song, there it is behaving as a verb. Are you people very clearly able to understand the difference? V2 versus V3. Can I do the same with the second form of the verb?
Ma'am, will it be okay if you can give 2 to 3 examples more? Like,
Okay.
I am
So,
getting difficulty in understanding this.
okay, all right. V2 सबको समझ में आ गया? Yes, V2 क्या है? बहुत सिंपल. हम पास्ट में गए, हमारे प्रेजेंट टेंस के वर्ब को हमने कॉन्जुगेट करके पास्ट टेंस का बना दिया. That is your simple V2 form. V2 form of the verb does what? It simply indicates that the action happened in the past. It is indicative of that, and it's a verb only. That's it. Now I come to V3, third form of the verb. Okay. Uh, Now, if I take this example itself, pizza, right? Here you people can see perfect tense में हर जगह लिखा हुआ है I had eaten, I have eaten, I will have eaten. Fine. Here it's working as a verb. Now let's say I enter the room and all of you are eating a pizza or sharing a pizza and it's half eaten. And I look at it and I describe it to someone, oh, I entered the classroom and there was a pizza kept on the table and it was half eaten. Now, half eaten pizza. How is this word behaving here in this particular sentence? Is it behaving as a verb? Is it an action? No. It's turning into an adjective. What is the quality of the pizza? What is the uh, highlighting point about the pizza? That it's half eaten. Yes. What is the quality for the script? That it's well written. Okay. Are you people able to understand? Yeah, let's say somebody is singing or like I hear a particular song and I end up saying, oh, that song is beautifully sung. Okay. Or well sung. It's a well sung song. Or it's a well synchronized. The beats of this song are well synchronized. Again, synchronized. ED form लगा हुआ है. But in sentences में, the word is behaving as an adjective and not as a verb.
Ma'am, so what about well?
Well तो अपने आप में adverb हो गया ना.
Ma'am, well, it cannot be adjective. Well synchronized, well sung.
Yeah, here it will function as an adjective because ये साथ में ही आएगा. Correct.
All right.
But then well अगर मैं independently देखती हूँ तो well is an adverb. Why? Because adverbs do not only modify your verbs, they also modify adjectives. So because we put in a hyphen in between, so then we can say well is the adverb that is in turn modifying your adjective. Your adjective will be this particular verb form 3 and then comes in your noun.
All right, ma'am.
ठीक है. थोड़ा सा क्लियर हुआ सबको कि फर्क क्या है तीनों में?
Yes, ma'am.
आया समझ में? बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट चेंज क्या हुआ? यस. तो ये जो हम ऐसे याद कर लेते थे, राइट, इसके पीछे का लॉजिक ये होता है. वर्ब फॉर्म 1 कोर प्रेजेंट टेंस हम जो यूज कर रहे हैं वो है. सेकेंड फॉर्म पास्ट टेंस बताता है. थर्ड फॉर्म पास्ट पार्टिसिपल होता है. व्हाट डज इट डू? व्हेन इट कम्स टू टेंसेस वो परफेक्ट टेंस में यूज होता है. When it comes to in general sentences, now that is one verb form of that word which will convert into an adjective given a particular sentence. ठीक है? Now all of these concepts get linked together and that is what we'll understand slowly. ठीक है? फिर आ जाता है verb form 4. Verb form 4 बहुत सिंपल है. Verb form 4 होता है ing form. ठीक है? So what is it doing? It is simply telling us that something is continuing. So that is the fourth verb form that we have. ये सबको क्लियर हो गया कि अगर कभी टेंसेस पढ़ोगे तो V1, V2, V3, V4, what do these signify? Clear? Okay, we'll go step by step so you don't get overwhelmed. इसके बाद में ही हम parts of speech करने वाले हैं, so you people then will be able to correlate. इतना क्लियर हुआ अभी? Yes? Now we move on back to our concepts. So now, when we are talking about the simple tense, no matter it's present, past, or future, anything which is factual, okay, something permanent, something routine, something cyclical, उसमें simple tense आ जाता है. Now, based on the timeline, your sentences switch. So, for example, let's say Akbar was a Mughal ruler. This is a historic fact. Yes, can we debate it? No. In which tense is it written? Past. Yes. Simple past. So it's not just about the actions that are completed in the past, it can also be any facts of history. Okay. सिंपल का एसेंस हो जाता है समथिंग विच इज फैक्चुअल as simple as that, something which is basic. And because we are also describing actions that have either happened, that are bound to happen, or that keep happening in the day to day life, so these are facts only ultimately. So anything factual, anything permanent, anything routine, yes, that is the simple tense. Based on the timelines, it shifts. Okay. So events completed in the past will become past simple. Facts or proverbs we see, okay, honesty is the best policy. Any um particular sentence which is giving a lesson and stuff like that, they also fall in the category of present simple. When we are talking about the future, so let's say I will take a class tomorrow. So what is this? Again, a fact. If I end up saying that I have sessions with my students over the weekdays, what happened? I ended up using the simple tense. I'm talking about a routine. Every weekend, I'm connecting with you guys. This is essentially a routine for me. Or whenever you ask people as to, okay, on which days is this particular place open? So we have the response in present simple. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, let's say. Okay, so we are open Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. Something routine, something cyclical. Okay. When I was a kid, my father used to take me to a cafe near my house every Saturday. Something routine, something cyclical, getting repeated. Understood the concept? Future में जाएंगे. Very simple. We are very quickly just defining or describing something that is bound to happen in the future. It could be a scientific fact, it could be something routine, it could be, again, something simply factual, or an action that will happen in the future. Is the concept of simple clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Now we move on to continuous. Continuous सबसे easy है. Yes? So I was eating pizza, I am eating pizza, I will be eating pizza. Very simple. The essence is we are talking about uncompleted actions, or we are talking about actions that are still going on. Just the time loop changes in whatever time frame that action was going on. But what is happening? These actions are not completed, they are in the process of completion. So we are looking at continuity. Very simple. Yes? Now, यहाँ पर दो चीजें आ जाती हैं. Let's say uh, we can see simple future, and we can also see um, yes, present continuous and future continuous. अभी सिर्फ इन तीन को देखना. Okay. So let's say, yeah, here, fine, here it's saying this, I'll eat pizza tomorrow. I am eating pizza right now. I will be eating pizza when you arrive. So for the first point of difference for me is, what is the difference between a simple future action versus a continuous future action? Apart from the fact that it is indicating a continuity in action. उसके अलावा क्या difference है? How do I segregate? दोनों की दोनों sentences future की बात कर रहे हैं. They are indicative of something that will happen, that has not yet happened. So which one should I choose when? For example, let's say I'll take your test in the next session. Okay. I will be taking a test in the next session. In the next session. Is any one of the sentences wrong?
No.
Well, with the I think the difference is the ing form of the verb.
ओके, वो तो कंस्ट्रक्शन का डिफरेंस है, बट
मैम
मीनिंग
may I?
मीनिंग में क्या डिफरेंस है?
Madam,
Ma'am, may I?
यस अपन.
Ma'am, I'm not sure. I'm just guessing it. Like, for example, simple future is I will eat pizza tomorrow. So this indicates, okay, that the person will eat pizza. Okay, but continuous future is something I will be eating pizza when you arrive. So this is something like I don't know how to describe it, but that an action will happen in the future. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but I guess like when you arrive, then only I will be eating something sort of that. Like it is showing the duration, particular duration that whenever you are
नहीं,
arriving,
अभी
then
इस सेंटेंस को तो हटा ही दो, मैं मेरा सेंटेंस बोल रही हूँ, राइट? फॉर
Madam, may
एग्जाम्पल
I?
आई, या यू कैन गो नेक्स्ट देबा. द सेंटेंस इज वेरी सिंपल. I will take your test tomorrow. I will be taking your test tomorrow. Now go ahead,
Madam,
Deba.
in Hindi it will be like मैं टेस्ट लूंगी, and the second will be मैं टेस्ट ले रही होंगी. In this way.
Hmm. हाँ ठीक है. What else? इंग्लिश में लेकिन क्या होगा? देखो हिंदी में टेंसेस और नुआंस्ड हो जाते हैं हमारे, राइट? सो while what you have done is a translation, that is good, but translation also happens in two ways. एक होता है लैंग्वेज बेस्ड ट्रांसलेशन जो तुमने अभी किया, एक होता है इमोटिव ट्रांसलेशन, राइट? अब इंग्लिश के सिंटेक्स में अगर मैं आ जाती हूँ, माय बोथ द सेंटेंसेस आर करेक्ट, बट व्हाट आर दे इंडिकेटिंग? सेंस तुम्हारे इस ट्रांसलेशन से ही निकल के आएगा. इट्स अ वेरी बेसिक डिफरेंस, जैसा कि तेवा ने ट्रांसलेट करके बताया, राइट? द एसेंस इज वी टॉक अबाउट फ्यूचर कंटिन्यूअस टेंस व्हेन एन एक्शन इज प्लान्ड. Okay, future continuous tense, you will always find it when somebody is extremely sure of this action happening in the future. ये होगा ही. Okay, and it is also indicative of the fact that this action is going to happen in the near future. It is something that is planned, it is something that is set. One simple example I'll give you is whenever you people read the news or articles, so let's say India will be hosting the Commonwealth for 2028. Okay, कोई sports event है, कोई particular global event है. That event is months away, right? Or an year away, or whatever it is. We do end up finding these descriptions in the future continuous tense. Yes. Why? It is a planned future event. So you end up using the future continuous tense when you are 100% sure, or you wish to give more credibility, or that is something that is already in the works and it will be happening in the future. Sure shot. Okay. Then we come to the simple future tense. Simple future tense simply indicative hota hai of future. That's it. That this, now this might happen in the future, this might not happen. But for now, from this particular point, at this point, I do feel that, okay, yes, this will happen. But there is no guarantee for it. Okay. You're just indicating that this is something for the future. Future continuous brings in surety. ये एक defining difference clear हो गया. So whenever you people are speaking, whenever you people are drafting something, you can use this particular bit of information very effectively in your construction.
Ma'am,
Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
excuse me, ma'am.
Harshit. Sorry, Hari.
Ma'am, actually, ma'am, can you please use some annotations because these are some important points, and after we
Mm-hmm.
download PDF, we out with these points.
Can you repeat again what you said in the end?
Please use annotation in the document. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
was
yeah.
one of
I'll do that. I'll prepare it all and send it over. Don't worry.
the download the
Okay.
PDF.
Yeah. Okay. Now comes in the next bit. And um, at times we also read, okay, India is hosting the Commonwealth this year, or Beijing is set to host Beijing is hosting so and so event this year. ऐसे करके भी लिखा होता है in newspaper fragments. Now, why are we using present continuous for an action which is happening, which has not yet happened? A very important point here is written. I'll zoom in a bit. See, it's written to indicate temporary action which may not be happening at the time of speaking. Now, what does this mean? At times, you people will also find the present continuous tense being used to talk about something which is going to happen in the future. However, why are we using the present continuous tense? To indicate that probably the preparations for that particular event have already started. ठीक है, सो ये जो एक बहुत बेसिक हमारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है दैट प्रेजेंट कंटिन्यूअस मींस एक्शन अभी चल रहा है, दैट इज देयर, दैट इज द कोर ऑफ आवर स्पोकन. But when it comes to written pieces, when it comes to articles or news or actions, sometimes at places we also find this particular placement. You will see the usage of present continuous for a particular thing that might be happening, let's say 6 months later. Or let's say I'm saying that the Bhopal Literature and Arts Festival is happening on 9th, 10th, and 11th January at Bharat Bhavan. And I'm saying this, let's say, back in on 19th or 20th December, I said it to someone. The fest has not yet started. It's happening in the future. But probably the preparations for the fest have taken in motion. They have started. So, at places, at times, we also find the present continuous tense being used for certain actions that might happen in the future. But that is simply indicative of the idea that, okay, this is something wherein the action has started somewhere. It has not reached its completion. At the moment when we are speaking about it, it might not be still that much happening, but something related to that has already begun. Is it clear? These are some very basic small nuances that you can look out for in whatever piece you're reading. Observational things. So, is the concept of simple and continuous completely clear to all of us? क्लियर हो गया? हमने 3 चीजें डिस्कस की हैं. What is the core concept of simple? Next, we discussed what is the difference between future simple versus future continuous. Third thing, we ended up discussing that at places we might find present continuous being used to talk about something that is going to happen very well in the future. However, something or the other has already begun. Concept clear? Now, I move on to the.
Ma'am, in the example that Beijing will be hosting Olympics for this year, can you
Mhm.
explain that what action has already been started?
Now, will be हो गया future. Beijing
Yes.
is hosting.
Sorry. Beijing is hosting.
Okay. Or BLF or Jaipur Literature Fest is happening
Exactly.
at this place on. The date could be very well next month. So what is this indicative of? Probably the preparations for the fest are in motion. Something related to this particular event that is so very well, placed in the future. Something about it has already started. This is indicative of, okay, the preparations for so and so thing are already set in motion, perhaps. And
All
that's
right,
why
ma'am.
that's why we end up finding the present continuous tense being used to denote something which is happening in the future.
Like regarding the Commonwealth Games and Olympic Games,
Yeah,
firstly, it has
yeah,
been decided about the within the committee, and then
hmm,
only they announce that who is going to host. So
yeah,
that action has already been committed.
yeah. The
Okay.
ball has already started rolling.
Yes,
So
ma'am. Got
it is not essentially necessary That was my key point. That if present continuous is being used, that means oh that action is happening in that very time frame. हमेशा जरूरी नहीं होता.
Got it.
Okay. Next, now we move on to the perfect tense. Okay, so why do we call it the perfect tense? इसके बारे में मुझे कौन बताएगा? We have the sentences in front of us. I have eaten all of the pizza. यहाँ पे बहुत ही वेग सी डेफिनेशन दी हुई है, but let's talk about this. Let's say a student is asking something on the group, and I end up writing, we have already started with the session. What time frame are we talking about? Anybody? Take a wild guess.
Ma'am, present.
प्रेजेंट तो ठीक है, प्रेजेंट हटा दो. प्रेजेंट, पास्ट और फ्यूचर से अभी अपन डील ही नहीं कर रहे हैं. अपन डील कर रहे हैं इन वर्ड्स से कि ये पर्टिकुलर वर्ड का क्या एसेंस है. गौरी,
Ma'am, I didn't understand your question.
द क्वेश्चन इज सिंपल. लेट्स से प्रेजेंट एंड ये सब तो अपनी जगह ठीक है, राइट? अब मैं पूछना चाह रही हूँ, जैसे मैंने सिंपल का तुम्हें एक एसेंस दिया कि सिंपल टेंस अगर यूज हो रहा है तो ये 3-4 डायरेक्शंस में जाता है, राइट? अब हम बोल रहे हैं परफेक्ट टेंस, परफेक्ट टेंस. हम परफेक्ट टेंस को यूज भी कर रहे हैं. हमने ये भी याद कर लिया दैट वी हैव टू राइट हैव प्लस V3, विल हैव प्लस V3, हैड प्लस V3. ठीक है, हमें ये कंस्ट्रक्शन भी समझ में आ गया कि इसे ऐसे लिखते हैं. बट essentially what is the sense behind using the perfect tense? मैं सिंपल पास्ट भी बोल सकती थी ना. आई हैव ईटन ऑल ऑफ द पिज्जा essentially means what? That the pizza is over. Okay, let's say I am eating pizza and you people enter the class and I end up saying, oh, you people missed it, I have just finished my pizza. Simple. Okay, I could have simply said I finished the pizza, but I'm using I have just finished my pizza. I'm using the present perfect tense. Why?
To indicate the past action is still continuing the effect of that action.
Very good, correct. Not the action, but the effect of the action. Very good. Okay. So what has happened? In essence, your action is already done and dusted. The pizza is over. That's a fact. The effect of it is that now what is happening? All of you have entered the class, but you are not able to get a slice of it. अंडरस्टूड. जब हम हिंदी में बात कर रहे होते हैं, हम कई बार वी एंड अप सेइंग दीस सॉर्ट ऑफ सेंटेंसेस. मैंने जस्ट अभी ये फिनिश किया, राइट? व्हाट इज द एसेंस बिहाइंड इट? प्रोबेबली यू आर ट्राइंग टू कन्वे टू अ फ्रेंड दैट ओ यू मिस्ड इट बाय अ फ्लूक and this just got over. So the impact is, your answer is impact based, that see now you are not going to get a particular result because this is already done. So what happens with the perfect tense? The basic essence of the perfect tense is that, first of all, this action started, okay? It has ended as well. However, the ending of that particular action has a lingering effect on something that is going to happen later on. And when we want to focus on this particular part, we end up using the perfect tense. जब ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है, when some action is getting completed and we do not really have any lingering effect of it, उसका कोई relevance नहीं है to the present time or relevance to the next action that will be happening, that is when we go back to the simple tense और हम सीधे सीधे simple past use कर लेते हैं. Understanding the use case difference between the two, simple past is being used and is indicative of completed action. Now we move on or we jump to the perfect tense. Perfect tense is also dealing with completed action. But what is this completed action doing? This completed action still has a lingering effect or still has a relevance to the next action that is going to happen. Now, look at all the three constructions. Very simple. So, I gave you, in the present context, I gave you the example that you people enter and I say, oh, I've just finished the pizza. So, the action has happened in the present only. It is a recent action that got completed, but it has a follow-up relevance to a number of events that are happening. I move to the past perfect. Now, what does past perfect do? Harshit?
So it gives two timelines when something
Hmm.
started, and so let's say even if I look at the example, so something was happening when something else happened.
Something was happening or was it already done?
It was done.
Yes. So what is happening? Past perfect को याद करने का बहुत simple सा तरीका है. Okay. Which I usually suggest everyone. Past perfect is past का past. जो past का भी past है. If I convert these tenses into a timeline, the leftmost dot on my timeline is past perfect. Perfect का sense essentially यही होता है. Perfect tense is dealing with a completed action. So now, because we are talking about the past, and ये tense इसलिए थोड़ा सा important हो जाता है because in your competitive exams at times, especially in the sentence correction part, you do end up getting questions wherein the tenses are getting mixed. क्योंकि perfect tense conditionals में भी use होता है. That's why you should be very clear with the concept of past perfect. क्योंकि जब mixed conditionals आते हैं and you get this sort of question, you get 3-4 pairs of sentences and then they say choose which one is the right sentence or choose the correct conditional. किसी को directly आ जाता है, कहीं कहीं पे error वाला question आ जाता है. And we get confused with the 2-3 tenses that are being used in the same sentence. That this one is also sounding right, this one is also sounding right, but which is the combination that is going to work? उन सारे combinations में कहीं ना कहीं past perfect they play with past perfect when they want to. So what is happening in past perfect? We are already establishing a timeline. We are already describing something that has happened in the past. But within the past itself, I want to establish this chronology of the events. So the action that has happened before the recent completed action and that had relevance on that particular action, that would be in past perfect. So this person had already eaten all of the pizza. This action got over. The impact was on the next action. The next action is written in simple past when you arrived. So this person arrived, but before this, this other thing had happened, and there is a relevance. There is something which is tying it to this particular incident. So that is past perfect. Clear हो गया सबको? Where we are using the past perfect? So we are jumping timeline. Now I switch to future perfect. Future perfect. Okay, so now again, what am I talking about? I'm predicting. So now this tense is used when we are talking about predictions specifically or hypothetical situations wherein we are pretty sure. So I will have eaten all of the pizza by the time you arrive. Let's say all of us are going for a particular show, and I end up saying that, oh, Suhas will have already performed on the stage by the time you guys arrive. Why did I use this particular sentence? Because now I am trying to somewhere say that reach earlier or else you're going to miss the performance that Suhas is presenting on the stage. Are you understanding? तो ये वाला जो tense है, this is completely impact driven. We end up using it whenever we want to entail this idea that while one action is getting completed, that particular action is having some sort of relevance to the follow-up actions that will happen, that might be happening right now, or that must have happened in the past. Is the core concept of the perfect tense clear to everyone? That's a huge silence. Silence is troubling.
Yes,
I
ma'am,
mean,
clear.
perfect. I mean, future perfect. The future it'll be. What is the construct format for the verb?
Will have plus third form of the verb.
Will have plus third form. And for the other event, other verb,
For the other verb, it will be present simple,
present. Okay.
always. Got it? Everyone? क्योंकि क्या हो रहा है, टाइमलाइन शिफ्ट हुई ना. अगर हम पास्ट से प्रेजेंट पे जाते हैं, प्रेजेंट से फ्यूचर पे जाते हैं, अब फ्यूचर में हम एक एक्शन के कंप्लीट होने की बात कर रहे हैं, तो ऑटोमेटिकली जो अगला एक्शन होगा वो एक टाइमलाइन पीछे जंप करेगा, बिकॉज वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट another action that will be happening, but we do not know right now as to when it will be happening. So we simply use the present simple, क्योंकि उस मोमेंट में that other action will be happening in that very moment. As simple as that. Understood, everyone? Now we move on to the perfect continuous. अब perfect भी आ गया है, continuous भी आ गया है. So now what is happening? Akshat,
Yes, ma'am.
go ahead and just try and explain what is happening when it comes to perfect continuous.
Ma'am, perfect continuous is something that has happened. We're in a time frame that we are assuming that it will be happening in a particular time frame. I had been eaten pizza, but we're giving it a timeline that I've been doing
Hmm.
it for this many time, this many hours, or this many days or
Hmm.
weeks.
Hmm. So what is happening here?
Madam, may I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Madam, it has started in the past and it's still going on.
It started in the past, it's still going on. Okay. तो फिर से वो तो सिर्फ कंटिन्यूअस हो गया. परफेक्ट टेंस क्या लेके आ रहा है? हम परफेक्ट वर्ड क्यों यूज कर रहे हैं? हम V3 फॉर्म भी यूज नहीं कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे.
Ma'am, maybe because an action has started in the past and has just stopped, so its effect is still visible to
But it has not
emphasize the
stopped because
duration.
we are using ing. हम्म. वेरी सिंपल. अब यहाँ पे हम बस कोर कॉन्सेप्ट मिक्स करते हैं. ठीक है. कंटिन्यूअस आ जाता है. कंटिन्यूअस ऑलवेज एस्टैब्लिशेस व्हाट? दैट द एक्शन इज गोइंग ऑन, चल रहा है. दैट इज इंडिकेटिव ऑफ ing. So now I'm trying to say that, okay, yes, this particular action has been happening for some time. So, like he said, that we are trying to put a time cap on it. कि कितनी देर से चल रहा है. I'm trying to set a duration for it. I'm trying to talk about, oh, for this much time, this, you know, had been going on. तो फर्स्ट मैं टाइमलाइन सेट करने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ फॉर अ कंटिन्यूअस थिंग. Next thing that is happening is comes in the perfect tense. Perfect tense क्यों आ रहा है? The essence of perfect tense, like I told you people, is perfect अगर word लिखा है, it means that particular action is going to have some relevance to whatever other action is happening. So in this particular thing, we have the best of both the worlds. We have an action which is ongoing. Simultaneously, we also want to assert on the fact that while this action is continuing, it has some sort of relevance or effect on some other action that is happening. And at places, we also use it when essentially we just know that, okay, this is started in the past and now I do not know. It might be complete, it may not be complete. What happened with the action, I do not know. But what's important for me is that, okay, it started in the past, it went on for some time, and it had an impact on some other action. जब ये मेरा core sentiment होता है, that is where we end up using the perfect continuous tense. Is the essence clear to all? क्या हो गया यहाँ पे? We are not just simply focusing on the continuity of the action. We are also not focusing on the completion of the action. For me, what becomes important is that a particular action has stretched for a considerable duration. That duration is also important for me. And the fact that that particular action and its continuance has had some sort of impact on some other action. जब ये मेरा core sentiment है, that is when I'll see perfect continuous at play.
All right, ma'am, means basically over here a duration has been added.
Yes,
All right.
that quantification enters the tenses. अभी तक क्या
So
हो रहा
that
था,
like
बहुत
two minutes.
हाँ, अभी तक बहुत स्टैटिक सेंटेंसेस थे हमारे. ये हो
Yes.
गया, ये हो रहा है, ये हो जाएगा. But for how long? Where is that other dimension which is telling us as to for how long that particular thing is happening? And even if we do not know precisely, using it is indicating that, okay, it must have happened or stretched on for a considerable period of time to have a particular impact, right? So when that sense has to come in, then we have the perfect continuous tense. So now, is the concept of tenses completely clear to everyone? Tenses हो गए revise? Gauri?
Ma'am, I understood as you were going on explaining every concept, but it's a lot to keep up with at the moment. Oh, not entirely, yes. I will have to go back again.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
See, you people can always keep simple pointers for yourself, right? Past, present, future तो हटा दो अपनी जगह. उससे हमें कोई इतना वो नहीं है. That is the obvious we have. Simple, continuous, perfect, perfect continuous. ये चार main senses हैं. Okay, so simple, anything factual, anything cyclical, anything static. Okay, that is simple. Continuous, continuance बता रहा है. Okay, the continuity that there is. Also focuses on surety. क्योंकि अगर मैं ये बोल रही हूँ कि कोई action, when it comes to the distinction that I told about simple future versus future continuous, if I'm already saying that something will be going on, it means that we are 100% sure about it. So it brings in a certain surety and it also talks about continuance. Then I talk about perfect tense. Perfect tense deals with completed actions, but completed actions in the recent past that have relevance to the next action happening after them. Okay, so I want to talk about an action which started, it got over also, but it's not that ancient and it has some impact on the next thing that will follow, that is perfect. And then when I talk about the perfect continuous, so now I want to assert on the idea that, okay, something started out in the past. It may be over, it may not be over. I do not know. Depending upon the tense and the context, I will understand that part. But it stretched on for a certain time, and that action is relevant to the next action that happened. It's important. So both of these senses come together, and that is where I use the perfect continuous. Okay. Sentence construction is very simple. We have in the simple tense, we simply have the first form, past में second form, third में again will plus first form. So will plus V1. Simple. Finish हो गया. Continuous, very easy. We already know about it. Is, are या am plus ing form. तो present हो गया. Past है तो was, were plus ing form. Future है तो will be. Okay, plus ing form. Simple. Then I come to the perfect tense. Perfect tense में आ जाता है verb form 3. So again, had, have, and will have plus third form. And then in the last one, had been, have been, will have been plus ing. That is the basic construction. A basic understanding of tense is done, because I am also planning to at least start with like or touch parts of speech very quickly.
Ma'am, you'll be sharing this document now.
Yeah, I'll be completing all of it together, compiling it. Okay.
In
Yeah.
last class, you mentioned that there is an unofficial group for the English,
Yeah. I'll
and
be
I'm not.
sharing the link. I'll be sharing the link with you guys.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. ठीक
Sure.
है. So ये clear हो गया. Okay. Now we move on to the next topic. What is the next topic? Parts of speech. So now very quickly first, quickly tell me how many parts of speech are there in the English language?
8.
8. Very good. Yes. Anybody? What are the 8 parts of speech?
Noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, interjection.
Very good. Lovely. Now, very quickly, the main focal points wherein, your competitive exams test you. Okay. We are going to work towards that. Now, these are notes that I had prepared for like very basic preparation, wherein I help students with the basic day-to-day grammar. So these are extremely exhaustive. Okay. But very quickly, if we walk through this, okay, let's talk about nouns. So what are nouns? A basic definition?
Name
Any
of a person,
religion,
place,
place,
thing, or
thing.
animal.
Correct. Name, place, animal, thing. That's the way we learn nouns, right? Now, nouns, again, are of different kinds. We have proper nouns, yes. Our names are examples of proper nouns. We have common nouns. Common nouns, again, are of two kinds, countable and uncountable. Yes. One simple example, books, countable. Currency, data, software, what is all this? Uncountable. Okay. But common noun. Yes. Abstract nouns. What are abstract nouns? Usually something that is metaphysical. Okay, which we cannot really physically touch. It's not concrete, it's more abstract. That is the abstract noun. Angst. Here you people can see the example. Angst, enthusiasm, willingness. Okay. What are all these abstract nouns? Any sort of feelings that are there. Sentiments are described usually. Absurdity. Okay, absurdism. What is all this? Abstract noun. Then let's talk about collective nouns. Collective nouns, again, we know very simple, a bouquet of flowers, a fleet of ships, and stuff like that. So collective nouns are there. Then we have material nouns. So material nouns, anything that is physical, we are able to describe it, it's something concrete. Then we move on to pronouns very quickly. Now, what are pronouns? Pronouns are essentially used in place of nouns. Now you people can see here it's a very detailed list that I have written now. Personal, indefinite, possessive, reflexive, relative, demonstrative. तो क्या हो जाएगा? अब यहाँ पे in personal nouns again you people can see user case, subjective versus objective. What does this mean? Personal nouns क्या होते हैं? I, you, he, she, it, they, like these are the common, the personal pronouns that we use to indicate a person. Subjective versus objective. Sentences में, if it is replacing a subject, then we, let's say I'm saying uh, she is a very intelligent student. Okay, so she replaced a subject. That's the subjective usage of pronouns. Objective usage क्या हो जाएगा? I का
Me, us, you,
me.
him, her.
हाँ, right. So that is the objective case. ये हो गए personal pronouns. सबसे easy usage. Now, usually in exams, where do they bring in the twist? When we talk about indefinite, possessive, and reflexive and relative. ठीक है? Indefinite pronouns क्या होते हैं? Indefinite pronouns सबसे important होते हैं क्योंकि बहुत सारे sentence correction questions में indefinite pronouns को ही पकड़ते हैं ये लोग. Anyone, somebody.
Something that refers to non-specific things
Exactly.
or
That is
people.
what I said,
Someone,
right? हाँ,
anyone.
हाँ. Someone, anyone, anybody, somebody, somewhere, none, all. इस पे क्वेश्चन आता है यूजुअली. नन पे तो बहुत ज्यादा आता है. None of, all of, and then the phrase is given or the sentence is given and you have to rectify or like figure out if the sentence is right or wrong. All of these fall in the category of indefinite pronouns. Okay. So indefinite pronouns very important when it comes to sentence correction. Possessive बहुत simple है. Mine, yours, hers, etc. Reflexive क्या हो जाता है? Myself, yourself, herself, yes, themselves. That is reflexive. Relative. ये भी एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है. रिलेटिव प्रोनाउंस पे भी कभी कभी सेंटेंस करेक्शन क्वेश्चंस आ जाते हैं. Who, whom, whoever, whomever. What is the difference between who and whom? It's similar to I versus me.
Who is used as a subject in terms of someone who does the action. Whom is used as an object, someone who receives the action. So
Correct.
who is basically used to replace he, she, or they. Whom is for him, her, them.
Exactly. So, what will I say? Will I say, uh, who did you visit last summer? Or will I say, whom did you visit last summer?
Whom?
Whom.
Whom. Correct. लेकिन सुनने में who did you visit last summer correct लगता है. Many people rampantly use it. Okay? It will be whom. So ये बहुत बेसिक सा नुआंस होता है. ये whom वाला क्वेश्चन भी कई बार मैंने repetitively देखा है. They play with the sentence and they might confuse you and you might not be able to spot that either. So relative में this is very important. Okay, that's why in your reference letters you people will always see it's written to whomsoever it may concern. It's not to whoever it may concern. So whoever versus whomever. Again, same difference. Whoever, subject. Whomever or whomsoever that we use, object. Clear? ठीक है? Then demonstrative pronoun. Very simple. This, that, these, those. ये हमें already पता है. So nothing much there. Now, would you people mind if I stretch on the lecture for 10 minutes more? I was just thinking that we first quickly just wrap up at least the basic concepts of parts of speech.
Sure, ma'am.
Works? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we move on to verbs. Verbs, we know we are talking about actions, we are talking about what things are being done. Okay. Three main parts coming here: action verbs, linking verbs, helping verbs. There are three kinds of verbs that exist. Okay. What are action verbs? That's a very basic definition. Quickly, anyone.
Verbs which are used to represent an action.
So, all the basic actions that we essentially do, they are action verbs. They are describing things that the subject is doing. Okay, those are action verbs. Now I come to linking verbs. Linking verbs are also famously known as the couch potatoes of the verb family. Now, essentially, who is a couch potato? Who would be categorized as a couch potato?
The subject?
No, not the subject. किसी इंसान को हम कब बोलते हैं कि ये couch potato है?
अच्छा, like that.
When they're lazy.
When they're lazy, yes, correct. So, lazy being now what here? Verbs necessarily do not indicate action. At times, verbs can also indicate a state. So, linking verbs are essentially the couch potatoes in the sense they will not tell you what the subject is doing, rather, they tell us how the subject is or what the subject is. How do they seem? So, rather than what the subject is doing, they are simply indicating us what the subject is, in what state, or in what condition. That's why they are known as couch potatoes, because there is lack of action, but there is indicative action. We'll very quickly take an example here. Take a look at these 5 sentences that I've highlighted in green. Look at the actions, the action or the verbs that are there. Lauren seems. The well water tastes. The carpet feels. You sound. Okay. The curtains smell. What is happening? We are getting to know how the subject is rather than what it is doing. Understood how linking verbs work? We need to know the concept of linking verbs. Why? Because you will also see this, that whenever you have linking verbs coming around, usually you see the present simple present tense at play. बहुत ज्यादा यूज होता है. कुछ combinations आप you slowly start observing as you're reading and reading and reading. If you try to scan through things grammatically, you will start finding certain patterns, and then reading becomes very easy for us. क्लियर हुआ लिंकिंग वर्ब्स का कॉन्सेप्ट?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, we move on to the helping verbs. So what are the helping verbs और मॉडल verbs? दो टाइप के helping verbs होते हैं. One, auxiliary verbs. What are auxiliary verbs? जो हमने अभी tenses में पढ़ा कि ये tense बनाना है, so I'm going to add have or will or this and that. That's an auxiliary verb. That means there is a grammar rule, and to create a particular structure, I mandatorily have to use that verb. Okay, so that's a helping verb. वो खुद primarily कुछ नहीं कर रहा है. It is simply complying and helping us form a particular structure, and it's helping us out. That's it. Next comes in modal verbs. What are modal verbs? They are also known as the helpers. So, for example, in this, the third sentence is, I may want to change my flight. You can cash your check. Paul must not notify his employer. I can say to you people, you should revise Brennan Martin. Now, when I used should, yes, so can, must, should, would, could, may. What are these verbs doing?
They show ability or possibility or permission in most cases.
They are showing a suggestion, suggestivity. If I remove this particular word, is my sentence still standing? I want to change my flight. That is also okay. I may want to change my flight. Suggestive. I can say revise Brennan Martin. Makes sense. You should revise Brennan Martin. Suggestive, right? So models, they bring in a certain tonality. They are the helpers. They bring in suggestivity. That is the difference. Okay. Now comes in this particular part, which is very important. All the competitive exams play around it. We are talking about adjectives. Adjectives seem very easy. Yes. Essentially, they are describing nouns. How a noun is. Yes, I have written here which one, what kind, how many. So adjectives are usually paired up with the noun that they are defining or describing. Yes, there are different kinds of adjectives. So instead of like getting into that, the most important part that I'd like to deep dive into for you people is this, the adjective order. How many of you are aware of the adjective order? Some of you had said, right, that मुझे sentence में how the words are to be placed, इसमें confusion होता है. So this is very important. So adjectives mean this is the core concept around which any competitive exam plays, or they also judge your writing, or in an interview also this is a very important point of judgment, which is the adjective order. So there are two orders, coordinate and cumulative. So let's take a look at the example here that I've written for the coordinate order. Okay, so it's a dark, dull, depressing day. Okay, every weekend is, or every Monday is. Okay, it's a dull, dark, depressing day. It's a depressing, dark, dull day. मैंने combinations change किए. Did it anyway impact my sentence? Yes, guys. I changed the order of the adjectives again and again, again and again. Did it change anything?
Not really.
No.
Okay. Nothing, right? So this is the definition of coordinate adjective order. So whenever you people are dealing with, because you are going to deal with very long sentences that have a number of adjectives together, or even when you people are writing something, let's say you're writing a report, you're giving a presentation, everywhere, this is very impactful. When it comes to a coordinate order, take a look at your sentence. If it's making sense, even if I'm shuffling these words, the impact of my sentence is not going down. Okay. So this is known as the coordinate order. That means in this particular sentence, no matter what order I go in, it's completely fine. It's not a problem. Now I come to the cumulative adjective order. Sentence correction वाला जो मुझसे कौन तो पूछ रहा था, कई बार adjectives ये वाला question भी ये लोग दे देते हैं. What they'll do, they'll give you a sentence that is grammatically completely sound, but उसमें cumulative adjective order लगना चाहिए. Now, what does this cumulative adjective order mean? It essentially means that whenever you are describing anything, there is a description that is given of a particular noun, there is a flow that needs to go, there is a cumulative order. And the cumulative order is this: opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose. अब इसमें से जो जो इंफॉर्मेशन सेट मेरे पास में अवेलेबल है, That I'll put up here in this particular order. ये order कभी भी change नहीं होता है. From the description of a whiskey brand to the electronics in your house to any, let's say, any product that you people buy, uska product description bhanna. That is the best way to learn the cumulative adjective order. Now, cumulative adjective order, why does it matter? I'll give you one simple example. Here it's written rich chocolate layer. Okay. Change the order. Okay. Chocolate rich layer. Did it change the meaning? Rich chocolate layer versus chocolate rich layer.
Yes, the meaning
Yes.
changes.
Okay, how?
Um, Rich chocolate layer, to me sounds like the quality of the chocolate is rich, whereas chocolate rich layer, to me sounds like the quantity of the chocolate is a lot.
Ulta bola hai. The, in, the inversion is true. Okay. See, rich chocolate layer means what? The chocolate layer, is a lot. The quantity, like the component of the chocolate layer, that layer might be thick. There's a rich chocolate
The
layer in this
subject
space.
getting changed in the two situations. Like
Hmm?
the subject is getting changed in the two situation. Firstly, it
Exactly.
is rich, and then the subject is becoming chocolate.
No, no, that is not the idea. Rich is not the idea. हमारा subject देखो ये तो एक phrase है. If I place it in the sentence that this pastry has a rich chocolate layer, what
All
am I
right.
suggesting? That the pastry has a considerable amount of chocolate. The layering of chocolate might be thick. Okay.
Right.
Then I say uh, that in this pastry there is this chocolate rich layer that I absolutely love. Chocolate rich layer means that particular layer has a high cocoa component in it.
All right.
Difference समझ में आया? So Gauri, you just inverted the meaning, right? The chocolate layer
Yes.
here becomes our primary noun. Yes? And it's rich means it's thick. The quantity is more. Chocolate rich layer. That means the layer is rich in chocolate, in cocoa content that might be there. So one is a qualitative description, the other happens to be a quantitative description. Clear हुआ? The cumulative order,
Yes, ma'am.
this is how it follows. जैसे अब यहाँ पे मैंने ये जैसे दो एग्जांपल्स लिखे हुए हैं कि लवली कोबाल्ट कैनेडियन रनिंग शूज. Can I change this particular arrangement? Can I say Canadian lovely cobalt running shoes? It For a person who may be, let's say, not aware with the rule or anything, this might sound like a perfectly correct arrangement. ठीक है, the shoes are Canadian, they are lovely, and they're cobalt. Great. So somebody might say that, okay, yeah, it's completely fine. But somebody who is aware of the cumulative adjective order, they'll very quickly point it out and be like, no, this sentence is wrong because the sequencing of the adjectives is off. Okay. So if I say, um, uh, a brown old big bear. I saw a brown old big bear in front of me. When I read the sentence, it might not feel wrong. But if I follow the cumulative order, is it correct?
Yes, ma'am. It seems more acceptable. A big brown old bear.
A big ब्राउन ओल्ड बियर आएगा या फिर अ बिग ओल्ड ब्राउन बियर आएगा?
Big old brown bear.
यस। तो ये आता है थोड़ा सा ऐसा डिफिकल्टी वाला, किसी किसी एग्जाम में वो दे देते हैं, वो क्यूमुलेटिव ऑर्डर वाले सेंटेंस को दे देंगे, दे माइट चेंज द ऑर्डर ऑफ द एडजेक्टिव्स, यू माइट फील दैट द सेंटेंस इज करेक्ट, इट माइट नॉट बी करेक्ट, and even when you people are formulating things or writing something subjective, always remember this particular adjective order, very important. क्लियर हुआ सबको?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
great. Now, I'll not linger on this particular session any longer. We'll continue in the next session. I very quickly first want a little feedback. Was this helpful in revising your grammar, the pace and everything?
Yes, ma'am, very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you people would like another session of the sorts wherein we continue?
Yeah,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
ma'am, like
Yes,
it
ma'am.
would be really helpful if you can come up with certain practice questions or worksheet, like so that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
concept
So
gets,
right
yeah,
now, because the concepts were so many that
yeah,
I
exactly.
had to first, decide on finishing as so that we are able to, revise these concepts. Just a second, let me very quickly check that. I had saved a particular PDF. Yes, it's not- yeah, okay. Just a second. Hmm. Stay on the call. How many documents? Mhm. It should be. Okay, I'll have to figure it out. I'll find it. There is this PDF that I have, okay, and it is a compendium of 80 grammatical rules, okay, and it's a very old book. I somewhere dug out the archives and I have it, and every year I hand it out whenever I feel that the students are struggling with grammar. वो कहीं मिलेगी भी नहीं, ठीक है, पता नहीं किस बुक की किस ऑथर की है, बट इट्स अ कंपेंडियम ऑफ ऑल 80 very important grammatical rules explained very quickly in short. उसमें सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स के ऊपर कुछ एग्जांपल्स भी दिए हुए हैं. I'll find it and I'll be sharing with you guys in the next class. Keep it with yourself and read it. ठीक है, उससे भी रिवीजन करना अपने आप, many components will start making sense for you. ठीक है, so that's that, and then we come to the group thing, right? So like you said that you're not added to the verbal prep group. Mm, So I have posted the link here. All those who are not added to this group का नाम है GRE Verbal Prep. So do not mind it. Just get added via that link. Okay, so you will be in the group. Okay. All right then. That's it for today from my end. We'll continue in the next session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.